The world will know you as pop stars.
Moi aussi, je me demande parfois si je t'aime.
Hello and welcome to Arts 24. We begin at the Venice Film Festival, where a powerful new film about a little girl killed by Israeli forces in Gaza last year received a 23-minute standing ovation at its premiere. The Voice of Hind Rajab is directed by Tunisian filmmaker Kaouther Ben Hania. Critics have called it the most powerful and urgent entry of this year's festival. The screening left much of the audience and many journalists moved to tears. Here's the director.
This movie was very important for me because when I heard the first time the voice of Hind Rajab, there was something more than her voice. It was the very voice of Gaza asking for help, and nobody could enter. So yes, for me, it's important to. It was like a kind of a strong desire and the feeling of anger and helplessness that gave birth to this movie.
The film reconstructs the final phone call of Hind Rajab. In January 2024, she was trapped inside a car wreck in northern Gaza, surrounded by the bodies of other family members after being shot at by Israeli tanks. Hiding beneath a seat, Hind called the Palestinian Red Crescent for help. But both she and the medics who tried to reach her were killed by Israeli forces. The film uses the real phone recordings of Hind's final moments, interwoven with a dramatised portrayal of the Red Crescent team coordinating her rescue. Here's actor Saja Kilani speaking on behalf of the filmmaking team.
The voice of Hind Rajab does not need our defense. This film is not an opinion or a fantasy. It is anchored in truth. Hind's story carries the weight of an entire people. Her voice is one amongst tens of thousands of children that were killed in Gaza in the last 2 years alone. It is the voice of every daughter and every son, with the right to live, to dream, to exist in dignity, yet all of it was stolen in front of unblinking eyes. And these are only the voices we know. Behind every number is a story that never got to be told.
Brad Pitt, Jonathan Glazer, Joaquin Phoenix and Alfonso Cuarón are executive producers on the film that premiered in Venice this week. Asked about the killings, and the IDF said the incident was still under review and declined further comment. Next then, sometimes life imitates art. Big news in the fashion world. Chloe Mal has been named the new editor-in-chief of Vogue. She takes over from Anna Wintour, one of the most iconic names in fashion history. Mal is the daughter of actress Candice Bergen and legendary French filmmaker Louis Malle. And here's where things get meta. Candice Bergen once played Vogue's fictional editor-in-chief on Sex and the City in the same role her real-life daughter will now hold in reality. Next to a K-pop animation that's taken the world by storm and even has the backing of South Korea's president. K-pop Demon Hunters is Netflix's most streamed feature ever. It's also topped the box office in the US with a short theatrical release, and the movie's songs have gone viral, making it a triple threat. Yet another win for Korean pop culture. Olivia Salazar-Winspear tells us more.
The world will know you as pop stars. But you will be much more than that.
3 charismatic singers, dancers and pop idols who also slay demons to protect their fans.
They're stealing the souls of our fans?
That's the premise of K-pop Demon Hunters, an animated musical which has broken streaming records. It's not just the film of the summer, it's the most watched film in Netflix history. Yeah! With more than 230 million views on the streaming platform, it's outperformed expectations and bucked the trend for remakes with its original storyline and characters. A winning formula for its growing number of fans. For many, it's the soundtrack that sets it apart. Real K-pop stars provide the vocals and have seen those songs top the charts.
Being able to perform in really big stadiums overseas means more people know us and our popularity has grown. It is amazing to see audiences even learning Korean.
After the success of series like Squid Game and the global reach of K-pop music, South Korea's president emphasized that supporting his nation's so-called cultural powerhouse is a priority for him going forward.
Us South Koreans protest through music and dance. For us, it feels completely natural. But for outsiders, it can look unusual, like, why are they dancing with nightsticks instead of starting a riot? It's a beautiful approach, and in the end, that's how we win.
The film has had an extra boost from a run of sing-along screenings, which sold out movie theatres in the US, Canada, the UK and Australia, making it a blockbuster at the cinema as well as on the small screen, and making K-pop stars of hundreds of thousands of fans, if only for a moment.
Now, the film The Roses has landed in Paris, reimagining the cult classic The War of the Roses with a very British sense of humour. It charts the spectacular meltdown of a marriage, swapping Hollywood drama for dry wit and plenty of irony. Eliza Herbert has the story.
It was love.
For you, dear, I'd do anything.
I do believe that's true.
It really is.
Truly.
Ivy, it's a monster success.
Would you do a photo shoot for New York Magazine?
Nude?
I don't think so.
And then madly.
You're just making me madder!
When Theo's career falls apart, Ivy's takes off, and their journey becomes complicated, chaotic, and at times nasty.
I just want the house. I built it.
Following the footsteps of another well-known couple.
I may have let you have the house, but now you'll never get it.
36 years after Kathleen Turner and Michael Douglas starred in The War of the Roses, Hollywood has brought back the cult classic, but with a modern take. Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman are tasked with the challenges of today's society.
How was your day?
The neighbour's dog shat in the laundry. The kids have got knit together. My left eye's twitching.
More champagne for me, please?
We can watch them and you can see, ooh, where bits have gone wrong. And they miss the opportunity to say sorry to each other. And I think all of us who have had any relationships, same-sex couples, thruples, as we were saying yesterday.
Oh, so I said that yesterday, right. I'm not in a throuple.
Prompting reflection on how far some lovers would go to annoy their other half.
I would cook something really disgusting.
I'd wake you up early.
Oh yeah, that would drive me crazy.
Once I left a bag of, I'm going to say, like, fairly embarrassing kind of detritus.
Eat alone and sleep under the duvet.
The two actors say that throughout it all, they learned some lessons.
Be nice to each other. Be charming. Be kind. Humour is very important, I find. Any couple of any type can walk in and see this film and go, whew, they're but for the grace of God.
The Roses is a film that promises a touch of sadness, laughter, and tenderness.
I don't think you have the capacity to fix your problems.
Are you actually allowed to say that?
That seems unprofessional.
Yes, like malpractice.
The Roses is out in Paris now. Now, it's been more than 6 decades since the rise of Beatlemania. Now, thanks to the discovery of some long-lost photos, we're getting a behind-the-scenes look at the group's early rise to superstardom. Photographs taken by Paul McCartney are on exhibit in London. Monty Francis has a look at the show at the Gagosian Gallery.
Ringo, George, John.
Just as the world was learning their names, Paul McCartney was documenting the rise of Beatlemania with his 35mm Pentax camera. Like this shot of George, Ringo, and John backstage in London, or this one of John Lennon in Paris on the Champs-Élysées. The mostly black and white photos cover a 2-month period between December 1963 and January of 1964, just as the Beatles were on the cusp of worldwide stardom.
What's interesting about the Paris pictures is that in the early days of the residency, they're able to walk the streets really without too much fuss. They're being followed by a small group of photographers, a handful of fans, but they're able to kind of be out and about on their own.
After a tour in their home country, the Beatles performed a 3-week residency at the Olympia Theatre in Paris, a move meant to widen their appeal beyond the UK.
They began 1963 really relatively unknown outside of Liverpool and Hamburg, but that started to change.
And change it did. When they arrived in the US, Beatlemania exploded. McCartney's photos of the band's Pan Am flight to New York in February of 1964 are among the snapshots thought to be lost for nearly 5 decades, and which resurfaced during the pandemic. McCartney is behind the camera, but appears in this self-portrait taken in the reflection of a mirror in the attic of his then-girlfriend's family home, where he wrote the melody for the song Yesterday. 6 decades later, he's giving us an intimate look back at the Beatles before they became among the most photographed people on the planet.
And that exhibition runs until October the 4th. Now, we're going to leave you with a French film that's premiered at the Venice Film Festival, François Ozon's adaptation of Albert Camus' cult novel, The Stranger. Shot in black and white, the film follows a young Frenchman living in colonial Algeria in the 30s who kills a man on the beach and is put on trial. The Venice Film Festival wraps up this weekend. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Aujourd'hui, je suis retournée au bain. J'ai fermé les yeux et j'ai senti ta tête posée sur mon ventre. Quand j'ai rouvert les yeux, tu n'étais pas là. Pourquoi as-tu tué cet homme? Pourquoi avoir brisé ce bonheur qui nous attendait?
Maman disait souvent qu'on n'est jamais tout à fait malheureux.